Welcome, class of 2025. My name is Bill Librera, and I'm the proud principal here at Watchung Hills High School. I'm extremely excited to have the opportunity to speak with you all tonight as a part of the 9th grade orientation. Please know that at Watchung Hills High School, we are committed to educating all our students. We are here to develop critical and creative thinkers who collaborate and communicate effectively. We look forward to the opportunity to work with you to empower you on the next stages of your journey. And although there are some unknowns regarding what the specifics of what a school day will look like next year, please know that we are committed to having full day instruction at full capacity. The goal of tonight's event is to hear from current students about what it means to be a Watchung Hills Warrior and their experiences thus far. So without further ado, I'd like to turn the program over to Mr. Jim Flacker, who is our 9th grade vice principal, who can begin tonight's proceedings with our panelists. Mr. Flacker?
Hello, I'm truly honored to welcome the class of 2025 to Watchung Hills Regional High School. I'm excited for you all to join us. My name is Jim Flacker, and I have the honor of being a 9th grade vice principal. Although we're unable to all be together right now, we have prepared this presentation as just the first steps of your high school transition. In the upcoming weeks, you'll receive more information about our guided tour program, which will run throughout the summer. You can sign up for dates to come in and see your classes. And we're also planning a very exciting freshman orientation for the end of August. These will be just the first of many experiences I look forward to sharing with you. While I hope you get to enjoy your summer vacation, soon enough we will all be coming into our building to start a new school year. As your vice principal, I'm very lucky to get to see you learn to navigate the building, meet new friends, take on new challenges in a classroom, and excel on our athletic fields. This past year has been all about adapting and adjusting. I'm proud of our community for how we've managed to always put each other first and persevere. This is a true example of what it means to be a warrior. I'd like to introduce several of our students today. I've prepared a few questions for them, and at the end of our presentation, we'll share a link with more information, and you'll have the opportunity to ask some questions. So I'd like our panelists to introduce themselves. James?
Hello, I'm James Langston Jr. I'm a 10th grader, and activities I do volleyball and football right now.
I'm Dimitri Hirschman. I'm a sophomore. I'm the vice president of the sophomore GLC, and I run track.
My name is James Mammon. I'm a high school junior, and I'm the president of the economics club, and I like studying that kind of field.
I'm Faith Giegrick. I'm a junior. I'm president of the Girls Leadership Outreach and Worth Club, and I'm treasurer of the Folio Literary Magazine.
Hi, I'm Megan Krutz. I'm a senior, and I'm one of the organizers of the TEDx Youth at WHRHS event.
Hi, I'm Dean Smith. I'm a 9th grader. I play basketball, and I'm currently doing track and field.
Hi, I'm Callie Goldstein. I did volleyball this year, and I'm in the Black Student Union and Diversity Club.
Hi, my name's Elizabeth Decker. I'm a freshman, I'm a soccer player, and I'm one of the founding members of an organization called Save Our State Stat.
Hi, I'm Isabella Reitz. I'm a sophomore, and I'm part of the Watchung Hills Dance Ensemble.
Great. Thank you all for volunteering to be here today. I look forward to hearing our discussions and your answers to our questions. So my first question for all of you is, Watchung Hills is a pretty big building. There's a lot of new people and a lot of new teachers to meet. Can you tell me how you felt when you first arrived?
So when I first arrived at Watchung Hills, a lot of other people definitely felt lost for the couple of weeks. Definitely me. A lot of people, of course, coming from different districts, new teachers, of course, that you have to be comfortable with. And it took me a while to get used to it. And I definitely felt a little homesick, but then I had to get used to it. I had to, adapt and just try new things.
Well, this is a difficult transition for a lot of people. For me, getting to know people was one of the harder things. I ended up getting to know a lot of new people and make friends with a lot of new people, but I think the hardest thing is meeting new people. But the first couple weeks are very intimidating. You know, people next to you in the hallway, you know, it's very tight, big classes. So I think that it's important to meet new people and talk to people that you have in your classes, that you meet in sports and clubs. But the first couple weeks are very intimidating, but it'll get better as it goes by.
As far as the building goes, it's definitely a lot bigger than majority of the middle schools. So I think like number one tip is like there are a lot of signs in the hallways of where buildings are and like what room numbers are where. So like paying attention to those signs is very helpful the first like 3 weeks.
When I first joined Watchung Hills, I was pretty nervous. I was a transfer student who came in the middle of my freshman year, and I had not known anybody who was in the school before, except for one other person who was never in any of my classes. So I was there, fresh out of a random other school with no idea who anyone was and who had never heard of a drop schedule or had ever had anyone, the whole school change classes at the same time before. So it was a very different experience, and I was also pretty intimidated, but I had heard great things about the opportunities here and the electives here, and so I was still pretty optimistic all the same.
Yeah, so it was pretty intimidating. You're coming in for the first time. I hear, kind of a common thread. What are some approaches that you may have taken to make new friends? How quickly, how easy was it to make new friends?
I think playing on the soccer team was definitely a huge part of meeting new people and getting to experience new things. So I would definitely recommend trying out for any athletic teams if you're interested. Also, there's so many different clubs, so you can definitely find your place in your group of people, and it's really not hard to meet people. And try to branch out because you'll really enjoy it here if you meet new people.
And I also think it's important to just take note of like who you share classes with, because then those will be good people to like walk to your classes with, or if you have any questions, I think that's a good base for getting to know people.
For me, definitely being on the football teams, definitely I made more friends as I was in high school. And during like my lunch times, definitely me reaching out to new kids and trying to make friends definitely made it better for me and more comfortable.
For me, the best thing that I did was to take notice of the people who just sat next to me in a few of my classes. 2 girls that sat in front of and behind me in my bio class freshman year are still some of my best friends today. They were immediately opened up to me and were very kind despite never meeting me before, and invited me to sit with them at lunch. And then from there, it's like a chain reaction, because you meet the people that they're friends with and become close to a whole kinds of different people. So friends are not something that you should be nervous of.
That's really great. I'd like to hear more about some of your classes. Are there any classes that stand out as really, really fun and exciting?
One class I really liked was freshman year biology, because my teacher was just really fun, and he would always tell us stories about life and then apply it to whatever science we were learning. So it was really interesting.
Yeah, my most fun and interesting class currently is also freshman biology. My teacher is really nice and really funny, and the class dynamic just makes it so much better. I never thought I'd be interested in bio before, but after being in that class, it's changed my whole mentality.
I also think when I was a freshman, just taking a wide breadth of electives that you may or may not think you like kind of forces you to acclimate to like a new environment. And I think just finding new classes that you thought that you would actually despise, like was said before, you actually find that you like them a lot. Like the interests I had in middle school really did change when I came to the high school and did the electives that I was actually just put in because they weren't of my first choice, but I actually ended up liking them a lot. And that kind of influences what classes you choose when you're a sophomore and a junior. And I think that's a really good way of finding your interest, just trying to take stuff that you otherwise think would not be interesting to you.
So are there any classes that you're really excited or looking forward to taking, or a series of classes or anything?
I always enjoy history class. One class I'm supposed to take next year is AP Government. I feel like I've taken 3 history classes, obviously the 2 required ones, and also Holocaust and Genocide. And all the teachers really are, great teachers that guide you and kind of inspire you to want to learn more and engage. So I'm really looking forward to that, and I think that's something that a lot of teachers, some teachers here are like, that they inspire you and engage you to learn more, and I think that's very important.
As you get older, like into the more upperclassmen classes, like junior and senior year, you get to take you have more freedom in choosing your classes. And personally, I'm very excited to take like AP psychology and like environmental science and classes like that, like more career focused, like potentially what you want to study in college. So there's definitely more of a wide variety.
One class I'm definitely interested in taking next year is sport. I think its name is Sports Entertainment Development, and I think that works with technology because that's something I want to work with when I'm in college and studying. As life goes on, that's something I want to look into because I love the works of technology and what you could do with it. Yeah, but for me, I just looked at what I want to do when I get older. So, in high school, that's something you should start now if you have a dream or anything that you want to do, in life. And for me, that would be technology, and that's something to think about. Definitely in high school if they offer you the classes to take them. So, yeah.
So this has been a very challenging year. Can you speak to what it felt like adjusting to this year? Maybe being virtual, but then coming back into the building, being here in person?
Especially coming in as a freshman who had no idea what to expect. It was definitely really hard, especially during COVID times. Virtual learning was not really the same as being in person because you're not as engaged and you can't really focus as easily. So coming back to all in person was really helpful. But even still, when you're learning virtually, the teachers were really helpful and they provided after school office hours for extra help, and that was really beneficial.
So yeah, this year was definitely very different and challenging for many students, especially with the scheduling switching and all the classes that you have to take virtually. I definitely had to switch because I saw personally how it wasn't helping in a way, and I knew I needed the extra help and the extra boost. So I personally went fully virtual, but it definitely worked. Now it's definitely working out because the teachers and the whole staff are doing new things to prevent anything bad happening in the school, and definitely using technology is definitely eye-opening because the last few years going back, we never really used any technology in classes. I'm glad you brought it up. It's definitely for everybody learning new things, and that's definitely one thing everybody was learning. So
Obviously, this year was very challenging, and it's good that people are coming back 5 days a week. One thing that I found helpful was I never went virtual optionally, obviously. So I think that going back 5 days a week is very beneficial for everyone. And I noticed that my grades went up and helped me focus more. But no matter if you're virtual, the teachers definitely make an effort to get you to participate and get you to engage in the classes.
And I think, I want to add on, I think that one thing that even if you're virtual or in person, if you take advantage of office hours or outside of the classroom and opportunities, it kind of makes it so that the gap that you would have since you're not really learning at the same kind of structure that you would be in a normal year, it kind of ameliorates that flaw. And I think that just taking advantage of those opportunities, because teachers do make that available, they'll let you speak to them after class or even meet them in the afternoon for a dedicated office hours, or even if you're in school, you can meet them between classes. I think taking advantage of those times is really helpful, both to help you learn, but also just do better in the school environment.
Excellent. Very good. So we've always had a tradition of ninth graders eating together here at the high school. This past year, each grade had their own mini break area. The ninth graders would have their snack out by the gazebo. In normal years and normal situations, the ninth graders all eat together in a north cafeteria, all for one big common lunch. Can some of you tell us about your ninth grade lunch or snack experience?
So like when school was normal pre-pandemic, the North cafeteria is by far like definitely the best cafeteria. So freshmen definitely get lucky there. Like the food and just I think it's pretty new. Like they renovated it relatively a few years ago. So no worries like coming in, worrying out the food and everything. Like it's great and you'll get whatever you need there.
For me, snack has been pretty much one of the best parts of my freshman year. I've met so many new kids, and that I think I'll be friends with for the next 3 years. And I also get to see all my friends from middle school as well. So it's just a good place to interact and kind of forget about what's really happening in our world right now.
Yeah, I agree. Like it also can seem like intimidating because there's like a whole portion of your grade that maybe you know, maybe you don't know. But then also with that, it's like so many people that you can get to know. And then like people that you already know, people that they know. So you just end up being introduced to more and more people, which is really beneficial for getting new friends.
Also during a normal year, during your lunch period, you have science labs. So if you're in a CP or an A-level science class, you'll have half of the period where you'll go to science lab, and then the other half you'll eat lunch in the cafeteria. But if you're in honors class, you'll bring your lunch to the classroom and have a full period science lab. So it's basically just an extra science class where you do like labs and experiments.
So normally after school here is very busy around the school building. Some people have practice, some people play are part of clubs or do other activities. What is after school like for you?
For me, after school was definitely a must because my parents always wanted me to be involved in different activities and sports. So for me, it was football, and every other I think it was like every day almost. Right after school, I would head to the field and practice and everything. You should always join some activity in school because you can't say in Watchung Hills there's nothing you can do in the high school. There's always something you can do, and everybody's running around this way, and it's always fun to just make new friends and new connections. Of course, that's something that grew over my freshman year.
Well, it's good to see that, as things get better, school gets busier. There's nothing here in school that you can't be a part of. There's something for everyone, whether it be clubs or sports, and that really opens new doors for people. And there's different types of clubs, whether it be student government or political action, or even, science bowl or math bowl. So there's things for everyone, and sports too. It's a great way to meet people, to meet upperclassmen, to meet freshmen and sophomores. It's really good.
I think like the one thing that really does make clubs so much better than like if you were to not do clubs, like the value of doing them is the fact that many of them either offer opportunities to do stuff like outside of school entirely. Like you might go to a Model United Nations conference over a weekend, or you might go to speech and debate conference. Like as president of Speech and Debate Club, I know that myself and many underclassmen, as well as kids that were older than me, would really like bond on those trips because we'd all be like kind of figuring it out as we go. And I think that clubs offer that opportunity to not do stuff in school, maybe not even like after school, but you get to go to like weekend trips and other things. So I think that you should really just try every club you possibly can. Of course, fitting in your schedule and like your time allocation, but trying all those clubs kind of exposes you to different kind of environments and people. And then if you do that, you get to further those relationships when you go on these events, which I think are like one of the greatest things in high school.
It's also really nice to be able to be a part of the leadership of a club and be like able to run events and fundraisers and things like that because you gain a lot of life experience through those experiences.
So in the fall during soccer season, that was definitely the highlight of my day, going to practice after school, because my teammates and I just had the closest bond. And if you really find a team or a sport that you love and you branch out and meet those people, it'll be like the best season of your life. Especially going to away games on the bus was just the most fun I've probably had all of freshman year. So definitely try to have new experiences and meet some new people.
I did volleyball this, it's a fall sport, but it was pushed to spring this year. And after school ended in the early afternoon, at about 3 or so, that we would have practices. And it was really fun to bond with everyone on the team and going to games together and just like seeing how well we all got along and worked together, like regardless of how we did in the game. It was just really amazing to see. How well like we could get along, and we barely knew each other before the season started.
Even outside of just club meetings, Watchung Hills offers so many different after-school events that you can come and see as well, whether that's things like Coffee House or TEDx or a hackathon. There really is just something for everybody. And almost a few times a month, you could just come down to school at any time and just be a part of the whole new experience. It's really fun and exciting.
Okay, thank you, Megan. All right, let's hear about some life hacks. What are some of the unspoken rules, some of the tricks that you've figured out throughout the day, throughout the years to help you work your way around this school?
Even though the school has so many lockers, you're never going to use them. Keep everything you need in your backpack so that you can take it from class to class without having to try to go back and find it in a locker. We didn't even get lockers this year because of the pandemic, but next year you probably will be assigned them, but you won't need them. And also the signs around the school are so important for finding your way around. I still use them every day, even though I've been here for months. They're really helpful. And if you get lost, just ask somebody, because there's always an upperclassman or a teacher who can help you find your way.
This is a pretty generic one, but when I first came, I couldn't really find my way around, so I made my schedule and a map of the school my background so I could pull it out whenever. And doing that, I figured out where all my classes were and when they were within the first 2 weeks, so I was never late after that.
Definitely use the breezeway. I was one of the kids in freshman year who never used the breezeway because I didn't understand it. And though I wasn't overly late to class, I was just the slightest bit late because I wouldn't take advantage of them. So definitely don't be embarrassed to ask where they lead to or where classes are in between them. They're very helpful and they can save you a lot of extra minutes between classes.
I think office hours are extremely important during high school, going from like middle school education to high school level, especially if you take like more honors or accelerated classes. It can be definitely challenging. So definitely take advantage of teachers who offer office hours because they can be very helpful.
Throughout high school, I've kind of always had full labs, so I've always either had to like cram in a lunch before or after. So I think that the trick is, like for labs at least for me, was finding out like when I could squeeze in getting my lunch. And although you have the North Caf, sometimes it's easier to swing by other cafeterias, either if you're early or if it's just because there's no one there. There's one cafeteria in the main hallway when you enter. We call it the atrium, but it's like they sell lunches there. And I know that when you're in a bio lab and you have a full period lab because you're in honors, you can easily swing by there, pick up a lunch, and then go right back to your lab, because labs are already full as they are. So kind of having to get lunch becomes another burden. But knowing like where you can get your lunches and kind of coordinating that is like a pretty strategic thing to do.
Just one thing I forgot to mention before was that there's a 4-day rotation with a drop schedule, and you only have science lab 1 out of the 4 days, so you don't have it every day.
Great. So finally, I'd like to ask each of you, what is one piece of advice you'd like to share with our new students?
One piece of advice is just to be friendly and like open to make new friends, because I know that I used to be afraid of like meeting new people, and especially just being around the upperclassmen, and I was really intimidated by them, but really there's no reason to be scared, so just be open to meeting new people.
This probably will sound cliche, but just be kind to everyone. Coming in as freshmen, you're all in the same boat, and you're all probably going to be a little bit nervous your first couple days here. So just be open to people, try to branch out and find your group and then stick with them, or keep meeting people every year because it just makes everything a lot more fun.
I think it's something that I would have liked to know in the beginning. I think would be to be open to ask for help, whether it's to if you need help in a class, you can just ask the teacher, or if you have a friend who's an upperclassman, or even like a neighbor or a sibling, just don't be afraid to ask.
The biggest piece of advice I can give you is to make yourself stand out. Be unique, but be yourself at the same time. I think it'll really help you to separate yourself and boost your overall confidence throughout your high school career.
High school is absolutely what you make of it. Whatever experience you would like to have, whatever classes you would like to take, or events you'd like to be a part of is entirely up to you. There's all sorts of different people here, there's all sorts of different opportunities here, and anything that you want to do or be a part of, you have the chance to. So take advantage of that and do whatever you would like.
I think just realizing that everyone's going to have their own experience. You know, we can give you advice and everything, and you might have older siblings or friends or cousins or whatever who will tell you their high school experience. But just realizing that everyone's going to have their own unique experience, I think, is really helpful. So try not to have too many expectations of what it might be like.
I think like the one thing you can just kind of go by in high school is just try as many things as you can. I mean, Watchung Hills, we're kind of in a nice, comfortable position in which we have so many opportunities. There are so many that, like, even the 2-page list that they offer of all the clubs is probably not representative of everything you can do here. So just trying as much as you can and trying everything you can, you'll find something you like doing, even if it's like one out of all of it. But in the end, if you find like one thing you really like doing, you find like a group of friends and then find teachers, and you really like grow your high school experience.
Well, you make or break your high school experience. Join a club or join a sport, meet new friends, be yourself, right? Be an outsider. Don't blend in with the rest of the crowd, right? And make sure to be nice to everyone. That's very true.
I think everybody said almost everything I was going to say. But definitely one most important thing is always going to your teachers and just asking for help. That's definitely I should have and I always take advantage of whenever I can. Just reaching out for help, and definitely building a great connection with them so that you can get the extra grade or the extra credit, because that matters in the end. And definitely the way you act to people really matters, and first impressions are definitely important. So of course, just be kind, be a leader, of course, because there's a lot of people that just follow one another. But if you are your own leader, there are people that will follow behind you, and just you'll definitely have a great experience here. So.
That's great. Thank you all for being here today. Thank you all for sharing your thoughts and your experiences. We really, really appreciate it. We will have on our website, we'll have a link that you can go to for more information, more questions you might have, and a place where you can send me even more questions, and we'll make sure we get back to you. Thank you for your time today. And just remember that from now on, you're always a warrior. So this is what we do. We're going to persevere. We're going to get through this, and we're going to be here. Have a great day. Thank you for your time.